So y'all ever make mistakes?
I mean, all the time, man.
Bro, I am a mistake.
Oh,
I made a mistake on my way home from church today. I do setup at my church with another guy. Like we set up like signs and things like that, tables and you know.
I thought you said sit-ups for a second. I'm like, is your church also a gym?
Yeah, we're doing sit-up. No, so I do setup, and so I was bringing a bunch of stuff back to the storage unit, to the church's storage unit for like the stuff and whatever. And I started blasting some Prince whatever. It was Fight This War. Because the guy I do setup with also like really likes metal. And so I was blasting that for him, and he was like, this is really good, right? And so after we finished putting everything away, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna listen to more Prince on my way home. So I did, and all 3 songs that I listened to were screaming songs.
Nice.
And so I screamed along with them, and so now my voice hurts.
Maynard, come
Right
on
the
a podcast today.
This
It's
is
okay,
basically
though.
the plot of Philly Maynard's not talking right now. It's a Flutter Guy.
Bum 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 ba da ba da.
It's Flutter Guy. Oh no.
Come on, where's the other 3 parts? Come on.
I don't remember all of it.
I don't remember it either.
That's something we got to do. Like, we just like got to go to a convention, get a group of 4 together, and just start doing the song.
But have one of them be like dubbed over. Do a real life Philly Vanilla.
Oh my gosh.
I've been in choirs most of my life, and I would love to be like part of a brony choir.
That would be awesome.
Like, I think it'd be cool. I don't know of any that exist right now.
Guys, we need to start a brony choir. I know there's been brony choirs, but I don't know of any that are still going to this day. But yeah, we should start a brony choir. Anyways.
Yeah, because all of us are singers.
Yeah. Are you a singer, Robert?
I mean, I'm okay. I'm pretty average.
I think I'm pretty good at singing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be prideful. I'll you know.
Yeah, I used to be really, really good, but I'm very out of practice. It's been a couple years since I was actually like in a choir.
Choir?
Yeah, the Out of Our Mains choir.
Out of our choir?
Singing is a very perishable skill. So
True. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Out of Our Mains, the show where we're out of our mains, and you probably are too, because you're listening to some hopeless, colorful horse addicts ramble on about a show meant for little girl. I'm Maynard, and we've got Ambazar. You good?
Yep, I'm great.
Just sound.
Did you cough?
I swallowed water wrong.
Well, first it was hell, and now you're like just making noises.
It's become tradition that Ambi messes up the introduction.
Oh goodness.
And Robert's here too.
Yeah, I'm the red one. Hello.
And we don't have a special guest this week. It's so weird.
Half the audience just clicked off.
We're all so close to the camera. Look, like we're so big on the screen.
Yeah, you can get a good look at us.
I don't know why I'm in the middle. I look like I'm gonna get jumped.
Give me your money. Give me your money, Ambazar.
Either that or me and you are about to bully Robert.
Not again. Come on,
Okay,
guys.
I like that better.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a while since we've done an episode just us 3. It's a little bit different. We've had just like 3, technically 4 guests in a row, if you count Rainbow Dash. Or no, we had 5 guests in a row. Wait, because we had Quantum, we had Rem, we had Prince, we had Rainbow Dash, and then we had Cole. So,
dang.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right.
Of course we count Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, of course. Rainbow Dash was honestly the most important guest we've had on.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
But yeah, so we figured that we'd bring things back a little bit, take it a little easy this week, because we've just kind of been going with these guests. We figure, you know, let's slow down a bit, and let's actually, we've had guests on, and we've talked about everything from finances to music to What else? What like stupid stuff have we talked about?
Video
Roller
editing.
coasters.
We talked about the best episode in the series, Spike at Your Service.
Yeah, but but we haven't done a lot of talking about ponies. We're a pony podcast. We haven't talked a lot about horses.
Yeah, pony, you know?
So we're gonna remedy that today, right, Maynard?
Yeah. In before we actually go on a random rant about something completely unrelated.
Let's talk about ponies. Maynard, you're a pony, right?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry to disappoint.
Horse noises. Horse noises. Horse noises.
Ambi,
horse noses.
you're a Kieran, not a pony. Unless.
Get him off
racist.
the show.
Unless.
My mother was a pony, okay?
Oh, the plot thickens. We have the deep lore.
So we have a few things that we want to talk about this episode. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up, I asked Robert and Ambi. I'm like, hey, we want to talk about ponies, but there's not been much pony news. So actually, you know what? Let's talk about this. Where the heck is the pony news?
That's a good question.
Like, what's going on?
I don't know anymore.
Winter Wish Day came out, what, December? November?
And there's been nothing since.
It's April. Like, we've had nothing. No teaser for Chapter 4. No trailers. No official stuff about when it's coming out, as far as I'm aware. It's like, what's going on?
We are in limbo right now.
I'm so glad we're not a news podcast anymore.
I mean, if this means that they're actually spending a bunch of time on Chapter 4 and it ends up being really good, like they're giving themselves more time, I am all for that. But knowing Hasbro, I highly doubt that.
I mean, we'll see.
Here's hoping we get more content in the future. We get more Misty, more Jazz Hooves. Especially more Jazz Hooves.
And I don't remember hearing much about like community news recently either. Like nothing big anyway, because if there was something big you would have told me, I'm sure.
So one thing that did actually happen recently was BabsCon was last weekend. So I know we're not a news podcast, so I'm not going to go over every little thing. But yeah, BabsCon happened. If you went, tell us about it. We'd love to hear it. Join our Discord.
Yeah, none of us did because we're poor.
I would have gone if not for I'm poor. Right now, so I'm actually going to be moving soon. Next month I'm going to be moving, but what I'm doing to prepare for I need to buy a car before I do that. That's basically what I'm waiting on, because I have a truck, right? But I'm moving to Illinois, which, if you didn't know, is like really far from Arizona.
Yeah, it's one state away from me.
You need to move to Arkansas. We can be roommates.
So I was originally just going to fly and be like, all right, I'm going to fly. I'm going to ship whatever stuff I need with me, or just take it with me in bags and stuff. But thing is, I have a dog. And he's a big dog. I do not trust him, or I don't trust him. I trust him with my life. I don't trust the airport staff with him being in like a cage or something, because he's a big dog. He's not sitting on my lap on that plane. Like, he's not allowed on that plane.
I can just imagine you putting him in a cage and like putting him in his baggage, and they're just like literally throwing him into the back of the plane.
Yeah, that's my fear. I don't want any of that, because I don't know how well they like. I just don't trust that. So I'm gonna drive up there with my dad. But right now I've basically saved up. I pretty much have the amount of money saved up that I want for buying a car. I just need to actually buy the car, and then the move's gonna happen. But yeah, so that's why I didn't go to BabsCon. But the good thing about that is that I'll actually be able to put up like sound stuff to make my room not like super echoey. So the sound quality for the podcast should get better.
Yeah,
that'll be pretty nice.
Yeah, I still need to set up all my acoustic panels and stuff in this room. Hopefully, make it a little less echoey. You see, Maynard, you're moving. You're poor because you are going to move. I'm poor because I just did move. That's the difference.
Well, my problem isn't that I'm currently poor. It's that as soon as I buy a car and move, I am going to be poor.
Yep,
so
there you go. It's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, you'll have to get another job too.
I'll probably be able to transfer with the restaurant I work at, because there's one pretty close to where I'm gonna live. So, but looking forward to that. Other than that, though, not really much in the way of news. But we did want to talk about. Ambi had a pretty good idea for something we could talk about for most of this episode. Since there's not a lot of talking points.
Trains are awesome. We're gonna spend the entire hour talking about trains.
Yes, my favorite train is the steam engine.
My favorite train is the one in the Polar Express. The Polar Express.
I'm actually more of a metro, like monorail. Okay, no, not really. We're not talking about trains.
Well, what about like light rails? You know, like those are
okay.
Cool.
This was a joke. We're not talking about trains.
But the bullet trains are really quick.
Okay, Robert, if you keep doing this, you know what you're gonna get? You're gonna get the bullet train minus the train.
Oh no!
Oh no! Why me specifically?
And Bizarre kills Robert on the Out of Our Mains podcast,
and then the ricochet's gonna hit Maynard.
No. So we're clickbaiting this episode with that now.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Oh my gosh, Robert, please don't do that. All right, I'm disabling soundboard.
Yeah, please do that.
I'm sorry.
He can't be trusted. Anyway, we should probably talk about what we're actually going to talk about on this episode before like the last 3 people watching this click off.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about, actually, Ambi, it was your idea. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
So we are going to, since we really don't have anything, okay, I'm not going to say we don't have anything to look forward to the future, it's kind of dumb to say, oh, we haven't heard anything for 4 months, there's going to be no more My Little Pony. No. But since we don't have anything right now as far as giving us hints towards the future, we're instead going to look at the past. And so we're going to look at, I don't know if it was like our absolute favorite and least favorite episode from each season, or just our episodes we liked or disliked. But we're going to be talking about the best and worst episodes from each season of Friendship is Magic.
Due to us talking for so long about the episodes earlier in the series, we only actually cover the first 4 seasons. Next time we have an episode with just us 3, we'll talk about the last 5 seasons. Sorry for the interruption. Enjoy the rest of the podcast. Here's what we'll do. We'll go by season, and we'll talk about our favorite, and then we'll talk about our least favorite, and we'll go around. So, Ambi, since it was your idea, what was your favorite episode from season 1?
So my favorite episode from season 1. Okay, so when we decided to do this, and you said to like I said, when you said to write down like your favorite and least favorite episode from each season, I couldn't do just one. But favorite episode from season 1. I will say, I think I told you guys this before the podcast started. Whenever I was going through and like I didn't really have time to watch a whole lot. But just like looking at each episode and stuff from like a list, I'm just like, this show is so good. There's so many good ones.
Yeah.
And just you tend to forget that when you don't actually sit and watch it for a while. But as far as my favorite from season 1, it's probably gotta be Suited for Success.
Yes.
That is a solid choice. I was really hoping someone else would bring up Suited for Success, because I wrote down a different episode, but I do want to talk about Suited for Success. I'm probably gonna say about the same things, but big thing, the song.
Oh yeah,
Stitch so by good. Stitch.
It's like the first like real banger to come out of MLP. I know there's wait, was Winter Wrap Up before that?
Yeah, Winter Wrap Up was before that.
Or Winter Wrap Up's before that.
We're talking about factual stuff from the series, so we got to make sure we're accurate. I'm going to Google it. We got to make sure we're accurate.
No,
or we're going to get attacked.
Okay, I already got you. Winter Wrap Up is episode 11. Suited for Success is episode 14.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to come out and say it. I don't care what people think. Winter Wrap Up is overrated.
Oh,
it's a good song.
shit.
It's a very good song. I will give you that. But Art of the Dress is so much better. Yep. Winter Wrap Up it's a good song. It's just not like, maybe it's just because of how much I've listened to it, how many times I've listened to it, but it doesn't like sound like it has anything super special to it.
I think it's like you said. I think the reason Winter Wrap Up is like such a big deal is because it was really the first big song in the entire series, and I think that's what made a lot of people who, because you got to think back in season 1, this is when like everything was starting and like the whole modern legend of Friendship is Magic was taking off. A lot of people listen to like Winter Wrap Up for the first time. They're like, oh god, they're already like watching the show. It's like, oh, okay, the characters are decent, has good animation. They heard that and they're like, oh, and it has good music too.
It can have good music too.
It has good music too, and I think that made a lot of people like. I think that's why it's so remembered, because there were other really good season 1 songs, but that's the first one that people heard that was like actually really, really good.
Yeah. But Suited for Success, great episode. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about that episode, Ambi?
Suited for Success. Well, Suited for Success has a very special episode in my heart. Has a very special place in my heart because I'm pretty sure I've talked about how I got into Friendship is Magic on this podcast before, so I'll keep it very brief. My sister was watching it in the living room, and I ended up seeing the first few episodes, and then she kept watching it while I was around, and then eventually I started watching it in my own room because I got a Roku put in my own room and a TV. I ended up binging everything by myself, and then like right when I finished the first 2 seasons, within like a month or 2 of that, season 3 came out on Netflix, and I binged all that. Suited for Success, I think for me, because for a while I'm just like, for My Little Pony, this looks and sounds pretty good, okay, whatever. I think Suited for Success, watching that episodes and like seeing like seeing like how everything was animated, seeing all the different outfits and stuff.
So it got you hooked.
And the song, that was the moment. Like everybody kind of has a different episode that they say really hooks them, and that was the one for me. Was Suited for Success. That was the point of no return. So
it was just such a solid episode.
It was
a very solid episode.
Like overall, the episode I wanted to bring up though, I wouldn't say it's like it is my favorite of season 1. It doesn't have like, it's not as well rounded as Suited for Success. But Green Isn't Your Color, I think, is my favorite from season 1, just because of how absolutely hilarious that episode is. Like, that is one of the funniest episodes in the series. Photo Finish, just, oh my gosh, she was great. A lot of like Pinky's absurdity in that episode. That was like, I don't want to say peak Pinky, but like, oh, it was so good. Or like where she's staring down Twilight and she has the apple and it like looks like she's about to smash it and say like, this is you or something. She just takes a bite out of it, and I don't know why, but that just killed me. Green Isn't Your Color, great episode. Robert, did you have an episode, or did you just want to add on to something else?
I remember my least favorite episode in season 1 at least being Owl's Well That Ends Well at the very least.
Okay,
but we're talking positives right now, man. That's for later.
I know.
I think like, we're going to say positive, negative, and we're going to move on by each season. The thing about
positive episodes, I don't really have like any ideas for like positive episodes because like I can never really pick.
Because you hate My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. As we know.
R.I.P. Robert's DMs.
Okay.
Oh. I just said some fighting words. Holy crap.
I mean, Party of One was pretty good.
Party of One was great.
That's true. It was the Pinky Freakout episode. That episode alone sparked probably about 50% of the fan fiction in this fandom.
Yeah, I actually didn't really like. I won't say I dislike Pinkie Pie by any means, but she was probably I remember when I was going through season 1, I kind of found her a little annoying. And Party of One was the episode that kind of like made me do a 180 of my opinion of her. Because after watching her do that, I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
Now I get it.
Yes, yeah, just Danny DeVito. Oh my god, I get it. That was literally me.
Yeah. I think for me, Pinky was my favorite for the longest time, just because I am kind of a sucker for the absurd humor, like comic relief type stuff. But Lesson Zero, great episode. I'm not a huge fan of like all the like. I know that like serial killer Pinky is such a big thing in the fandom, but like I never got behind it. I don't like crazy Pinky.
Fair.
I'm like, I just don't like the trope of taking an overly like optimistic and happy character and being like, oh, they're this way because they're a serial killer.
Because
like,
they're insane.
It's because they're mentally insane. No.
To be fair, I think it is very fair to call Pinkie Pie canonically insane.
Oh yeah, she's insane, but not that way. She like clearly cares deeply about everyone around her. But yeah, anyways, moving on to least favorites. Robert mentioned it, and I was going to bring it up. All's Well That Ends Well. I hate that episode.
I think everybody hates that. I've never heard anybody say they like that one.
It really wasn't a good episode at all.
I'm fine with Aloysius and everything, but...
They did Spike dirty, I think, in that episode so bad.
Just like, man, the things that irk me about that episode, I've already talked about it on the podcast before, but that was season 1, so I'm going to bring them up again because half the people listening probably didn't listen to season 1. Totally fair of you guys. But my big problem with All's Well That Ends Well is Twilight is essentially acting in that episode as the parental figure for Spike. And doesn't sit down and have the new baby in the house talk with him and be like, hey, like, there's a new member of our group. We're going to be like, we're going to be, we're going to be a little bit more focused on them. We're going to be toting on them. Like, this owl's around. You're not being replaced. He just is going to like take a little bit more attention right now. But she didn't have that talk with him. And, when Spike reacted badly to it, she like shamed him and like essentially like she was asking for him to go out and leave basically. And at the end of the episode, she didn't apologize. She was like, "Yeah, Spike, this is why you don't get jealous." And it's like,
yeah, that's what rubbed me the wrong way. They treated it as if Spike was the one who made all of the mistakes, and it's like, no, Spike was not to blame here. He's probably the least to blame here.
Twilight was done pretty dirty in that episode.
Sure, like, Spike was overreacting, yes. But, like, it was totally understandable in his situation. Twilight was just being awful.
Like, if you shower somebody in, like, praise and adoration, especially if you're basically their parental figure, and then one day you basically adopt another child, and then you basically throw the first one into the dirt and move all of that praise and adoration onto the new child, of course the first one's gonna be upset. And that's what they did.
Yep, exactly.
And then at the end they pretty much told Spike, it's like, yeah, it's your fault for being jealous. And it's like, no, that is a completely understandable reaction to what happened.
Fault for being a bad parent.
And it was everyone else too. Like, everyone just forgot about Spike in that. It's just, nobody likes that episode.
I feel bad because I'm realizing now that with this topic, we're probably going to be talking a lot more about our negatives than we are our positives.
Yeah, but
I mean, the thing is, like, what can you say to something that was good? Just like you say, oh, it was really good. Like, you can't really elaborate as much on something that's good as you can on something that's bad.
I think there are some episodes later that we can.
Definitely, but like early on, like especially these early episodes, you can't really, like, there isn't much to elaborate because they're pretty standard episodes. They're just done really well.
I think the big thing is like, what can we say that hasn't been said already?
That too.
And, it's like it's easy to gush about something, but it's so much easier to talk about negative stuff at length. It just
yeah.
I don't know why it is, but it's like, I know for me when I'm doing like my How Bronies Reacted videos, it's so much like easier for me to script one of those episodes when it's about like a bad video than a good video.
Yeah. Anyways, so Ambi, did you have a different least favorite episode of season 1 you want to talk about?
Okay. Well, you see, something that's going to come into play here for my least favorite episodes, that's going to be kind of a common theme, is my least favorite trope in pretty much any form of storytelling is when the plot or problem is dependent upon lack of communication.
Oh my gosh.
Don't even
Like,
get me started
yeah,
on
the most
that.
frustrating thing in the world for me is when I'm watching a show or something, and the whole reason everything's going wrong is because like two people did look and say, "Hey, by the way."
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the reasons like I don't like green isn't your color as much as everyone else. Yes, I like the humor, and yes, I like photo finish, but it's just the entire plot is dependent upon Rarity and Fluttershy pretending to be happy in their situations and not saying anything about it.
I get that. I understand that. I get why that'd be frustrating.
Yeah.
But I don't hate the episode because, like I said, what happened was entertaining. So it's not the end of the day.
My big thing with that is that in Green Isn't Your Color, I think the result of it, the humor of it, like ended up essentially not making up for, but like it gave it reason to exist. There are some episodes later on that use that trope that don't really have anything going for them. But Green Isn't Your Color, I can kind of like... It was also kind of the first time they did a miscommunication episode of the series. So I wasn't really too upset about it. But yeah. Anyways, since you don't like my favorite episode of season 1, get off the podcast. It wouldn't be the Out of Our Mains podcast if I didn't tell someone to get off the show.
It's a tradition. We're slowly falling into a bunch of traditions. But I like how I said that, but that's really not the problem with my least favorite. I mean, my least favorite episode is All's Well This End Well. There's no way around that.
Of course.
It's easily one of my least favorite episodes of the show. But since both of you guys already talked about that, I kind of want to draw attention to Look Before You Sleep.
Ooh.
Oh.
I did not.
Interesting.
I did not care for the episode. I have mixed feelings about it. For anybody that used to watch Digibrony.
Oh, that's not who I thought you were going to say.
For anybody who used to watch Digibrony, his analysis video that came out way long ago goes over it pretty well. The entire episode is just obnoxious to watch because it's just Rarity and Applejack like fighting with each other. But then the moral at the end is really, really good.
I think that's what like saved the episode for me. Mm-hmm. I think that episode is more like it's an all right episode. It's not. I don't see it as that bad. I don't see it as anything like crazy good or anything, but yeah, I thought it was pretty standard.
Did we put it on like B tier in our tier list?
Something like that, but we don't talk about the tier list. It's not real. It can't hurt you.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I love the moral of, you don't have to be similar to somebody. You just have to respect differences. I love that moral because there are a lot of shows and lessons that are just like, oh yeah, you don't hang out with people who don't have similar interests and stuff. You have to have stuff in common.
Yeah.
You cracked me up with that because of the discussion we were having about a different episode before we started recording.
Well, we're gonna ignore that.
We'll get to that later.
Let me be all poetic.
There was another episode that comes to mind is Swarm of the Century, but that's because it was just a nothing episode. It felt like, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, that's how that. Yeah, Swarm of the Century just didn't feel like it's not a necessary episode, really.
It's inoffensive to me.
Yeah, it's inoffensive, but it's a nothing episode.
For me, it's painfully inoffensive.
Yeah,
it's very middle of the road.
Yeah.
I literally, because me and Robert like sat down and watched it, and afterwards we were like, I don't have anything to say about this. Like, there's literally, like, what do you say about Swarm of the Century?
What am I supposed to feel?
What happened in that episode? Paris sprites, a spell, and like Pinkie with instruments brings them away or something.
Pinkie Pie being Pinkie Pie.
I think it was hilarious how Celestia thought like the Paris sprites were a parade to like honor her visit.
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Anyways, though, do we want to move on to season 2?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. We've been on season 1 for a little while now.
Yeah. All right. So season 2. Let's start with our favorite episode.
Lesson 0.
Season 2. Yeah, it's lesson 0. Like, no contest.
I do not have lesson 0. I have lesson 0 in the honorable mention category on my list.
Really? What
it
do
is
you
a
have?
good episode, but I think lesson 0 is insanely overrated.
Ooh,
I actually think Party of One is the better like freak out insanity episode, which I know was a hot take.
Party of One is season 1, Ambi.
Yeah, I know. I'm not talking about in season
We're
2.
talking
Like,
about-
I'm just talking about in the series.
Yeah, but we're talking about season 2.
I have some words about that, but I want to hear what your favorite episode of season 2 was.
My episode, now, it is close. It is very, very close. Sweet and Elite almost took it.
Oh,
which, honestly,
one.
I have to say, like, I kind of already knew this, but going through, like, the list of all the episodes, I realized Rarity has some banger episodes in this show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sweet
Like,
and
she has
Elite
got
was
some
amazing.
banger episodes. Like, there's only, like, 1 or 2 episodes of her that I think are just, like, kind of mid that focus around her, and everything else is just really good.
Foreshadowing.
It was almost Sweet and Elite, but I think my favorite is probably Sisterhood Social.
Ooh, that is a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one, yeah.
Did you have anything specific, or can I tell you why you're wrong?
Okay, I'll say my piece really quickly. Then I'll let you tell me why you're. I'll let you tell me why.
Yeah. Say your
why I'm
piece.
wrong. Okay.
Opening statements, go.
So the reason I love Sisterhood Social is, first of all, I have a little sister, so that kind of makes it somewhat personal. But as far as, I really like Sisterhood Social because I just think it's such a well-told story, because seeing the relationship between Rarity and Sweetie Belle, and then how it mirrors, or really does the opposite of mirror, Applejack and Apple Bloom.
Yeah.
I just think it's so simple, but it's such a well done story of somebody who pays attention to their sibling and somebody who doesn't. I'm trying to think of a more poetic way to say this, and there's really just not.
Yeah.
It's just a really sweet episode with a really good moral, especially since that episode kind of low-key made me realize, like, I ignore my sister a lot, and then I like tried to do stuff with her, and she's like, no, leave me alone.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, it's such a sweet episode. Even if I saw it actually being Applejack covered in mud and all that stuff, I saw that coming from a mile away. But still,
of course, it is a really good episode. I do like that episode a lot. And yeah, that is very true. I also have I have 3 younger siblings. I totally get it, but
here it comes.
I wanna. So it's nothing wrong with Sisterhood Social, because I do love that episode. That is a really good episode, and it is told really well. My thing, Lesson 0. So I think the reason that I like Lesson 0 so much is because there's a timeline where that episode's moral goes in a very bad direction. We have another All's Well That Ends Well situation, because they very easily could have spun that episode as like, oh, Twilight's freaking out about everything. You shouldn't freak out. Like, you shouldn't stress the little stuff or something like that.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Yeah,
they very easily could have, but they didn't. They didn't go for that low-hanging fruit. They went above and beyond and actually told what the actual moral of that is, which is things that may not seem like that big a deal to you can seem like a big deal to someone else, regardless of whether they are a big deal in the long term. Like, at the end of the day, if it's a big deal to someone, it is going to screw with that person. No amount of you telling them, like, oh, it's not that big a deal, that's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's bullcrap. I've had, like, so the episode, for me personally, is really big because I've had a lot of, like, worries about, there have been times where I tend to, and I am going to get a little bit personal, to be completely honest. That episode makes me choke up every time I see it, because I kind of see myself in Twilight in that, at least a few years ago. I've had situations where, like, something related to, like, a personal project that honestly, in the
grand scheme of things,
yeah, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really, like, mean much. But so I'll just give the specific example. So me and a friend were running a big, like, story-based Minecraft server with a bunch of friends, right? And this was, like, a really big deal for us because we had spent literally, I want to say, like, half a year planning this thing out before it actually, like, started. And as it was going on, certain things were starting to go wrong. There was a specific player who we still don't 100% know who it was, who was, like, screwing with things, and we didn't really have a way to keep track of it. We ended up having to cancel it after it going on for only, like, a month, when we had put, like, tons of time and preparation into it. Shutting that server down, like, destroyed me, honestly. I was pretty depressed because of that. But I didn't talk to pretty much anyone about that because I was like, how do I tell someone that the reason that I'm so like stressed out and depressed and such over a freaking Minecraft server, you know?
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
Like, the thing is, regardless of whether it is it seems like a big deal to you or not, the lesson they went for is, yeah, listen to your friends, hear them out, regardless of whether you think they're being ridiculous or not, because it's very important. Because if you just laugh in their face like the main six do, and they get, you know, they apologize for it later on, which is great. They very easily could not have apologized about that. But the fact that they did is just it. I don't know. Just the moral of that episode hits home. It's so close to home for me.
Yeah, I think one thing that I think early My Little Pony definitely has over the later seasons, like, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, later seasons bad, because they're not.
Of course, yeah.
But I think one thing it has is there's a lot more, like, it's not like the later episodes in the later seasons don't have morals, they do.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more focus on the morals in the earlier seasons.
Yeah, at times it can be a little bit overbearing. Like, okay, come on, did you really have to fit like a weird moral into this? It could detract at times, but a lot of times it was like they hit it out of the park with some of the morals early on. But yeah, Lesson Zero is like my favorite example of that, and is definitely my top 3 favorite episodes of the series.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm trying to think now. It's like, is it that there's not as much of a focus on the morals in later seasons, or is it just that they don't have a letter at the end to just outright spell it out for you?
I think it's less that and more that, like, I don't think some of the later morals are very good.
Yeah, to be fair, they'd already gone over most of them by the time, like, what, season 5 came around.
There were some that were really good later on, that somehow didn't get covered, like All Bottled Up. I felt was like a really obvious one, but they didn't really they hadn't covered that previously, which was interesting. But I think they did that one pretty well. Anyways, yeah, I think some of the earlier episodes, I agree, some of the earlier episodes' morals end up hitting a lot harder.
Yeah, and I want to go over this really, really quickly, but another reason I respect Lesson Zero that I feel like a lot of people don't think about is because you think of a lot of shows that are just really, like, scared to change up their format. I think that's one thing people actually really liked about Friendship is Magic, is that it was not afraid to change the status quo.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes too much, in some people's opinion. Something I really like about Lesson Zero is towards the end, Celestia basically adds in the clause that she'll forgive Twilight for basically screwing up an entire town, but now all of the main 6 have to write her letters. And I remember that even as, like, younger me watching it at, like, 11, 12 years old, that really stuck out to me. Because, like, even a minor change like that, because, like, the ending of every episode was always Twilight Sparkle writes a letter. And now that you're having all of them write a letter, like, how many shows would be scared to change that just for no reason?
Yeah, that's true. And, like, I think it kind of remedied a problem that certain season 1 episodes had, where, like, Twilight didn't really need to be there, but she was there because the plot demanded it, because she needs to write the letter.
And especially as someone who watched a lot of children's cartoons like SpongeBob, and especially like Nickelodeon shows and stuff like that, it felt like, you know, as somebody who watched a lot of other cartoons at that time, the people who made this, they were so scared to change the status quo, like past the first season.
Yeah, because Friendship is Magic is technically like somewhat of a formulaic show.
Yeah.
Especially like early on. It's not quite it's not quite Avatar, where it's like this super long extended plot over the course of the entire series. Like, there are progressions that are made, but like it doesn't really like change the fact that the show is still very like slice of life.
Yeah.
But for a slice of life show like that to change the formula so much, like, yeah, that's mad props. I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
But yeah, I remember it was just so cool to me because I've watched so much SpongeBob in my life.
It's such a good show. Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, even in the earlier episodes, like, aside from a couple episodes like Sandy being introduced and being a recurring character and stuff like that, aside from some very rare instances, it's just, you know, whatever happens in the episode, by the beginning of the next episode, everything's back to normal. And it's just, for me to realize My Little Pony would not do that outside the first season, The fact that she said, okay, now all of you are writing me letters, and they do. Like, I remember that was just so cool to me, because I'm like, things change in this show. There's continuity.
There are consequences.
There's continuity. That's the word I'm looking for. There was continuity in the show, and that was so cool to me, because you didn't get that with a lot of cartoons back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, that's Silverquill's whole thing.
Yeah.
You've watched Silverquill, right?
Oh,
yeah.
I love Silverquill.
He's great. But yeah, continuity is a very interesting thing. Especially for Friendship is Magic, because a lot of slice of life shows just don't have that. But here we are.
Because just like, things change and they acknowledge it. If they do something in one episode, they won't really pretend. Okay, 90% of the time, they won't pretend it never happened. And I really like that.
Like characters just kind of fading out of existence.
Yeah, because with the cartoons I watched and stuff, I wasn't used to that. I'm just like, well, why don't they ever bring this character? Why don't they ever acknowledge that? And My Little Pony did, and that was so cool to me. But yeah, I still think my favorite episode. Anyway, we probably should talk about least favorite episodes now, because we've been on this for like 15 minutes going over the good episode season 2.
It's just that, I have a lot to say about Lessons. There's a lot to talk about that episode. There's a reason it's regarded as one of the best episodes in the series.
Yeah, I like how Robert was just like, well, we're not going to probably spend a lot of time talking about the good episodes, and then we spent like 20 minutes talking about Lesson Zero.
That was me who said that.
Oh.
My bad. But yeah, moving on to worst episodes. Okay, for me, I originally forgot that Baby Cakes existed and wrote The Mysterious Ne'er-Do-Well.
You lucky man.
And then I remembered that Baby Cakes existed, and I wish I could forget that
Baby Cakes existed.
Yeah. Thing is, I do want to talk about Mysterious Ne'er-Do-Well, though, because I have more to say about that one than I do Baby Cakes. Baby Cakes is just babies crying for 90% of the episode. It's just not very good.
Yeah, it's very obvious why that one's bad. There's not a lot to talk about there.
But Mysterious Ne'er-Do-Well is an episode that I hate, because I hate it when there's unnecessary conflict between the main characters.
Yes,
okay, everyone in this episode is characterized so bad. Rainbow Dash is the worst that she has ever been in this episode. That I can remember, at least. Maybe there's an episode in later seasons that I'm forgetting about. But Rainbow Dash is just so intolerable in this episode. She's just so egotistical. She's fully drinking everything in and getting her head is the size of the planet.
Yeah.
But the main 6 are also you know what you do in a situation like that, where a friend is doing something that's hurting them and hurting those around them. You know what you do? Oh, you dress up and upstage them, and you rub it in their face. No, you freaking sit down and talk to them. Holy crap.
Yeah, that plays into the lack of communication thing. Like I said, the thing to do would have been to sit and talk to her. And I've heard some people talk about well, that probably wouldn't get through to Rainbow Dash. And I'm just well, freaking maybe not, but you could at least try to do it first before you do the whole Ne'er-Do-Well thing. They didn't try. That's the thing that bothers me.
They did absolutely nothing at all.
I would have been back sooner, but got into a conversation with my family.
You're good.
We continued on. Now we're talking about the worst season 2 episodes, where we're dogging on Mysterious Ne'er-Do-Well.
Oh.
Yeah. We mentioned Baby Cakes because it is objectively the worst episode of this season.
Did y'all bring up A Friend Indeed? I was going to bring that up.
Oh, okay. Is that wait, what episode is that?
It's with Cranky Doodle.
Wait,
the introduction of Cranky Doodle.
That's your least favorite?
A Friend Indeed was the episode that introduced Cranky Doodle Donkey.
Was that a favorite or a least favorite?
Favorite.
Oh, okay. We thought you meant least favorite. I'm like, you hate that episode?
Oh no. Yeah, we haven't talked about it.
A Party of One is what made me actually like Pinky. I think A Friend Indeed is what really made me like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it had it has the Brony national anthem in it.
Oh, the Smile song is so good.
Oh yeah.
That song is so good too. That one's up there.
And then Fuzogs remixed it. And then they put it in that video, and now I can never look at it the same.
Come on and smile.
Poor Fuzog. Fuzogs didn't deserve that, and neither did that song.
It was still a really good episode, though.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, we're talking about our least favorites, and we mentioned the fact that Baby Cakes exists, but there's like not a lot to say about that one.
When non-bronies think of like My Little Pony without actually watching it, when you think of like, the stereotypical view that people have of it as, like a baby show where you put shiny objects on the screen and then like, 3-year-olds laugh at it. That's the vibe I got from Baby Cakes, because it was literally just the two babies being insufferable the whole time. And we were supposed to still enjoy it because they were supposed to be cute.
I'll say the positive. Yeah, the little full designs are pretty cute. I'll give the positive that.
They weren't cute enough. Is the problem.
They're pretty cute, but with how insufferable the episode was, it didn't say that.
Yeah, it's just I think it's objectively the worst episode of season 2.
It is, yeah.
I also don't like how it, like, for lack of a better term that I can think of, like, bastardized magic. Because magic was, I feel like, especially in the earlier seasons,
Maynard got really pissed off about that.
It was basically presented as something that's like, oh yeah, every unicorn, innately has the ability, but you have to study it and master it to be good at it. And then you have this 1-year-old doing self-levitation.
Not even one
newborn
month.
And then you have a freaking baby flying around everywhere
and walking through solid objects. Like what?
There's just it's a very infuriating episode.
Yeah. Well, think about it like this. Pumpkin Cake used magic before Sweetie Belle could. And Sweetie Belle eventually was able to do magic.
I guess baby magic, I can kind of excuse it because unicorn magic is unstable, but I can't excuse the fact that they were using it so innately.
No.
If it was more all over the place, then yeah, I would have excused it.
If it was more like Flurry Heart, yeah, sure. But no, she was very intentional with what she was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they try to explain it by saying, they get magic bursts and stuff, but it's like, you'd think if that was a case of like, if they got like random bursts of energy running through their body, how did they control it so perfectly?
Yeah, that's not okay.
Unless Pumpkin Cake's like the greatest magical prodigy this side of Starlight Glimmer, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I guess we technically don't know. But yeah, literally, the whole levitation thing. I'm pretty sure the only unicorn in the series that we've seen do that is Starlight. I don't think even Twilight did that.
The birth of unicorns, OP, Hasbro, please nerf.
Yeah, basically.
We're all unicorns, basically. I'm a Kieran, so I might as well be.
Mysterious Mare-de-Well was meh.
Oh yeah. We talked about that. That was the episode that I actually had a lot to say about. I hate that episode, but I think Baby Cakes is the worst episode. But Mysterious Mare-de-Well is I despise it. Anyways, though.
I know we don't want to hang on this too long, but I do technically have 2 more that I had listed for terrible episodes.
Oh shoot.
I feel like season 2 is the extreme. There are some really good episodes, but there are some really bad episodes. The other 2 bad ones I had written down, because I had 4 listed because I could not just take one off for honorable mentions because they were all bad. And that's Dragon Quest and Putting Your Hoof Down.
Oh yeah. I understand people's hate for Putting Your Hoof Down. I didn't think it was that bad. But yeah, Dragon Quest. Yeah. That's pretty terrible.
I don't have Putting Your Hoof Down as high because I thought Iron Will was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really just, the thing that really makes me mad is just the mistreatment of Fluttershy, especially from Angel. I think people still hate Angel to this day because of that episode.
Oh, of course. Angel's abusive.
Yep, him slapping Fluttershy and then like shoving the book in her face, like that made people so angry.
Well, yeah, the big thing at the time was like, you can't be mean to Fluttershy.
Yeah, and then Dragon Quest, my big problem with that is just they made dragons jerks.
One that I was gonna bring up was Mystery on the Friendship Express. Now
that's such a good episode.
Now let me explain. Okay,
wait.
The first time you watch it, it's great. All right, it's awesome. But when you watch it a second time, it's not worth it because you already know what the twist is gonna be. That's the problem with mystery episodes.
I was about to say, well, that's just mystery stories in general.
Yeah.
That's okay, Robert. You're allowed to be wrong.
I'm putting it on like a kind of like the mess scale, but I think like it's definitely one of the weaker episodes when you've already seen it. Yeah. But like a first time view, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, I personally don't think that's fair because I think that's just about every like mystery type episode.
That's why I'm not putting it as a negative. I'm putting it as like kind of like a mention.
That's fair. Anyways, so moving on to season 3. Some favorites from season 3. What do we got?
The short season. This one was easy.
Mine might surprise you. For season 3 episodes, this is a very controversial episode in the fandom. Me just saying that, but you probably know what it is. Magical Mystery Cure.
Yeah! I was going to say this. I was going to mention the same thing.
I actually love that episode.
I just peeked my microphone.
Like yeah, I heard that. I heard, yeah!
No, I think that was Discord's just noise barrier. I got it in Audacity and it peaked.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Magical Mystery Cure, I get why people don't like it because it's such a big difference and such a big change. I know if people want it initially, but sitting on it now, I think it's a really good episode.
Yeah, I think especially back then, everyone was like, oh no, Twilight's an alicorn, Hasbro's just there to sell toys. And it's like, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. I don't want to excuse the fact that they're putting big shiny castles in there to sell play sets. The fact that season 4's finale has them with big wavy hair and whatever, to sell
Bacon
toys
hair.
And stuff, right? I don't want to excuse that. But the thing is, when you sign up to watch My Little Pony, that's gonna happen.
You sign up for Hasbro to sell out.
And it sucks, but I think in Magical Mystery Cure's case, I think they did it well.
Yeah.
I think they handled it well. I think Twilight becoming a princess was like, especially when you take into account like that the show was 9 seasons long. Like, that, I think, you know... I think that's fair.
I think it was bound to happen at some point.
I think that was a natural way. And they originally thought that was going to be the end of the show. Like, they thought the show was going to end at season 3. That was going to be the finale. That would have been a sasatisfying, like, conclusion for the character.
And then they made season 4.
But thankfully it wasn't, because, season 4 was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The reason I like that episode, or a big reason, longtime listeners know I am a sucker for musical episodes.
Yeah.
In just anything. And Magical Mystery Cure is the embodiment of that. And it's all the songs. Every single song in that episode is so good. Oh my god.
True friend helps a friend in need.
You've got that. You've got You've Come Such a Long
Celestia's ballad
way.
Was so good.
Oh
I wanted a song from her for forever.
Like, I remember when I heard that song, I remember watching it for the first time. I remember getting chills or something. I remember getting chills.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. The lead up is so good. And then
I was so hyped for that episode the first time I saw it.
And then I have to find a way to make this all okay. Yeah. Like, that song is so good too. If you guys haven't heard the extended version, like, go listen to that. It's really good.
I was about to say it was really short. I think there's an extended version out there somewhere, but
there is, and it's really good.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand the hate for Magical Mystery Cure. It has always been like in my top 5. I love that episode.
I think most people's hate for it. I think not as many people nowadays hate it, but I think just especially back then, it was just like, no, they're changing they're making Twilight an alicorn. The show's bad.
They're making her a Mary Sue.
There's only supposed to be 2 alicorns, and now we have 4?
Yeah, I was excited because, like I said, like I love the fact that there was change and that like they changed things and like had continuity to it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yeah, I'm excited. It's like, yeah, change it up, like make stuff different.
Yeah, like the whole like alicorn thing. Like, guys, come on. By the end of the series, we had what 5, 6 if you count Cozy Glow, 7 if you count Big Mac.
Yeah,
8 if you count Discord.
Which I obviously count Big Mac, obviously.
Of course, yeah, best princess. But yeah, I think the hate for that episode is undeserved. I'm not saying anything new here because like obviously a lot of people are more okay with that now. But I think just with all the drama that came with that, I think people don't pay enough attention to that episode and like really call to attention that was a good episode.
I feel like people just think it and it's like, oh, it's the episode where she became an alicorn.
Yeah, but episode really good. Did anyone else have any other episodes written down for season 3?
I don't have anything written down, but I did think back to like the season 3 premiere and showing like Crystal Empire because it's a brand new location and I really like the aesthetic of the Crystal Empire.
I felt like I would have liked that episode more if Sombra was like a villain that existed. that was real.
Yeah, I was very disappointed by the season
Sombra
premiere.
was so disappointing initially. I mean, they brought him back in season 9, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, they brought him back, and it's fun to hint. It's like, it's such a cool design. I wish they would have got him more. And then they brought him back, and he just would not shut up.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, you need to talk less and kill more.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, Sombra just didn't do anything then, at least.
Yeah, I know we're not talking about season 9 yet, but I'm like, how did this happen? Like, how you said one word in the season 3, and now you came back and you won't shut up?
I think the Sombra in season 5 was the best.
Yes.
But
we'll get to that later. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. So one other episode I just wanted to mention. Like, I don't think it's my favorite from season 3, but I do think like it's worth mentioning. Keep Calm and Flutter On was that.
That's a good
season.
episode.
Yes, good,
I liked it a lot. I feel like a lot of people with John Delancey's weird relationship with the fandom, a lot of people kind of like, we'll talk a little bit more about Discord later, but yeah, a lot of people seem to like discount Discord more than I feel they should, because he was actually a really cool character, and especially that episode was like one of the best characterizations of him. Like, you see him in his like he's got his chaotic nature, but just the realization when he starts to say like what was the line, when Fluttershy says that she won't be his friend anymore, and he's like you think I care that I won't have any more friends, or like something like that.
Yeah.
Like, the way he delivered that was so good.
He's a good actor.
You felt like how you felt like how he was feeling about the situation in a way, because it was very convincing, basically.
Well played, Fluttershy. Well played.
And
like that. Oh, it's so good, man.
Yeah, the moment, like, I loved Discord in season 2, but like Keep Calm Flutter On made me that made him like top tier for me.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so let's any other episodes we wanted to mention?
Yeah, there's one more I have to mention, and of course, Magical Misty Cure is my favorite, but right behind that is Sleepless and Ponyville.
Which one was that?
That was the one where Scootaloo goes camping and she's afraid of the headless horse.
Oh yeah,
the headless horse.
That was good. I don't think I thought anything special of it, but the headless horse was just perfect.
Yeah, that's the thing. I love that episode, and I feel like nobody talks about it. And I just thought it was so good because,
here's your opportunity. Talk about it now.
Yeah, I was really, ever since they really kind of introduced, like, Scootaloo to be a huge fan of Rainbow Dash, I was really waiting for them to really just, like, cement that surrogate sister relationship between them. And then it finally happened in that episode. It was such a good episode, because I kind of related to the whole feeling Scootaloo feeling like she had to be really perfect and basically mirror Rainbow Dash to get her to like her. The Cutie Mark Crusaders want to go camping, and so Apple Bloom invites Applejack, and Sweetie Belle invites Rarity. And so, since they're taking their sisters, Scootaloo wants to invite Rainbow Dash. And she spends the whole camping trip basically trying to impress her, but Rainbow Dash tells a scary story about the headless horse, and that gives Scootaloo nightmares. And then Princess Luna is involved. It's a whole thing. And then there's a really, really sweet moment at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's just, that's such a good... I feel like that episode doesn't get a lot of attention, but oh my gosh, I love that episode. If it wasn't for Magical Mystery Cure, that would 100% be my favorite episode.
I liked Magic's Duel a bit as well, with, like, Trixie.
I really didn't.
So, I liked the idea of Magic Duel. I just how many controversial opinions am I going to have on this episode that get me canceled on Twitter? I just don't like Trixie.
I think she was a better villain in Magic Duel than she was in the first appearance.
Well, I think she was better as a villain.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, no, like in like her original appearance, she was more of an antagonist, and in Magic Duel, she's more like a villain.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. In Magic Duel, I liked the concept of like, oh, Twilight, like there's a foe that's too powerful for you. You need to go to the shaman in the forest and learn to master the chakras or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I did like the way that they like pulled one over on Trixie. That was cool. But other than that, I just like, I don't know. I don't have anything big to say about the episode.
I'm with you. I have never liked Trixie, because people have told me just at length why they love her so much, and I'm just like, she's really obnoxious, and I don't like when she's on screen.
I never liked Trixie a lot. I mean, I thought she was fine, but she could get really annoying sometimes.
Most of my disdain for her is like in later seasons though. But we'll get there when we get there. Actually, I don't know if I have any Trixie episodes written down as worst or best.
I think at this point we're not going to get through all the seasons in one sitting. We're probably gonna have to save this like the second half for another podcast. Anyway, we still have to go over the bad episodes of season 3.
Oh yeah, least favorites.
Although we know what it is though. There's not a whole lot of episodes to choose from. We know what this one is.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Rainbow Dash, but I gotta call you out, man.
Spike at your service.
Yeah, Spike at your services.
Oh no, I'm trapped under this rock.
as an avid Spike enjoyer, I love Spike, but that episode was not it.
Man, they did Spike so dirty in his episodes, man. There are so many bad ones.
In the series in general, like, it's cause, like, I think the problem is, like, they were still, like, stuck in, like, this kind of he's the boy character mentality, you know?
Yeah. So they don't take him seriously.
They didn't really get out of that until, like, way later in the series.
Well, it sucks because, like, this episode came out after Lesson 0, which I feel like is an incredibly good interpretation of Spike's character.
Yeah, definitely.
He's the anchor that keeps Twilight sane.
Yeah, exactly. He was so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm still talking about Lesson 0. When he goes up to Twilight and she's losing her mind and he like comes over to, he's like, snap out of it.
Yeah, he screams it. He's just like, snap out of it.
He's understanding with her, like with her situation. Spike did everything right in that episode.
He's a great straight man.
Yeah. Spike and Twilight just in general are the perfect comedy duo.
They are they're a good dynamic.
They're very good at being the straight man for each other. Anyways, though, Spike at your service. What hasn't been said? Oh no, my hoof's trapped under this rock. Like, goodness.
Yeah, just there are so many bad things in that episode. I don't even know if I want to talk about it. Just literally everybody was portrayed terribly.
The CG Timberwolves were cool. That was a cool thing.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. There are a lot of cool creatures in Equestria.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't really want to talk about G5, but that's probably the biggest thing I miss in G5 is G4 Equestria was awesome.
Yeah.
The creature in Equestria that some of which they need to expand more upon.
Yeah.
Diamond Dogs.
Yep. And then G5 Equestria is just 3 towns. And that's it.
Diamond Dogs, Kieran, Parasprites.
That's probably my biggest complaint about G5 so far is there's no world building other than the scraps we get of like G4 to G5 lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's upsetting that most of this stuff in G5 that's been like cool or interesting has been tie-ins with G4.
Anyway, we don't need to talk about G5. We don't need to talk about G5.
Yeah. Back to G4. Let's not get even more people mad at us.
Back to the glory days. Okay.
Are. Did anyone was there any other episode in season 3 that people really didn't like?
I mean, maybe just for sidekicks, the one where Spike has to take care of everyone's pet. Both of the Spike episodes were bad.
And 90% of Spike episodes are bad.
Just for sidekicks was very, very okay. It
was just one of those episodes. That's all I have to say.
Very, very, very okay. And that's like, you know, that's it. There's nothing I can really say about it.
Ooh, an episode I want to say something about. I didn't realize this was season 3. Wonderbolt Academy.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think it's one of my favorites or one of my least favorites.
But it was a nice payoff.
Well, what I was gonna say specifically is that like Lightning Dust as a character is just so tragic. At least before the Washouts episode. Because, well, actually, no, even with the Washouts. Because Lightning Dust kind of got screwed. She was essentially... So the whole thing with that episode is that, Lightning Dust is being reckless and Rainbow Dash doesn't like it. And then Lightning Dust ends up, like, endangering her, the main 6 and such.
And everybody,
it's like, okay.
Really?
Yes, it's like, okay, yeah, that if it was just that, like, yeah, Lightning Dust is 100% in the wrong. But Spitfire constantly praised Lightning Dust for being reckless. She was, like, essentially, like, feeding into that. And then had to kick her out of the Wonderbolts when it went too far.
Yeah, but to be fair, I do kind of like how Spitfire had that like moment of humility and realization, and it's just like, yeah, you know, you want to push yourself when you're like a professional athlete and in like a group as prestigious,
yeah.
But you also don't want to endanger people, and I do kind of like how she had at least had a moment where just like, Yeah, I probably shouldn't have been condoning that.
Yeah, that's why I don't hate that episode.
But yeah, I do understand. That's a very middle of the road. I liked it.
I also think there was a nice payoff because at this point, like, you know, Rainbow Dash was talking about the Wonderbolts a lot and always wanted to be a part of it. And then this is a nice payoff for Rainbow Dash.
Yes, it was.
We finally see it.
Yeah, she's finally in the academy, at least.
Yeah, she's like one step closer to being a Wonderbolt.
Yep. It's progression for her character. Yeah. Continuity.
Gosh, we need to try and get Silver Quill on here one day. He'd be a great guest for the podcast.
Oh my gosh, I would love to have Silver Quill on.
I've talked to him like twice in my life, so I don't know if I have enough pull in that sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably I think we're going to talk about season 4, and that's probably going to be all the time we have because we're at like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's fair. This is how we tease people into like keeping up with the podcast. We're like, oh, the second part of our favorite and least favorite episodes is coming eventually.
It's like the show. It's a 2-parter.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. It's a cliffhanger that's not going to get resolved until we have another episode that's just us 3.
Yeah.
See, take notes, listeners who want to do a podcast. Anyways.
All right, are we going to do season 4?
Yeah, we should do season 4. So season 4, my favorite episode, I think, was Pinky Pride.
Same.
Pinky Pride is definitely a very, very good one.
It's so
Weird
good.
Al Yankovic in that episode. Oh my god.
Another thing that adds to that, yeah, Weird Al is amazing.
Yeah,
but another thing that adds to that episode is remember when I mentioned that I really like musical episodes?
Oh yeah.
This is one of those.
We had a Weird Al musical number.
I'd say, how could you not have a musical episode if Weird Al's going to be in it?
Yeah.
Exactly. You've got the Goof Off, you've got Pinky's Lament.
You are legally obligated to have a musical number when you have Weird Al as like a focal point of your episode.
And I love the fact that his character was just Weird Al.
It's just Weird Al's pony soda.
That episode was so fun. It was so good. It was believable. It was a little iffy when Twilight's friends when Pinky's friends turned like they didn't do a complete 180, but they were like kind of like pushing Pinky off without realizing it. But
it's one of those things where like the payoff and stuff of the episode was so good, you kind of forgive it.
Yeah, exactly. Pinky Pride, good episode. Did either of you have anything different written down?
I do, actually. That was actually only my 3rd favorite episode of the season.
Oh.
My favorite it's not particularly close. I like my 2nd favorite a lot too, but my favorite episode of this season easily was Rarity Takes Manhattan.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That was a good one.
Oh, Manhattan, what you do to me? What a big buzzing community.
Usually Rarity's episodes are like, you know, one of her dreams coming true, and then coupled with a musical number, and her just being Rarity.
Now, Rarity episodes are just like 99% of the time are just great.
They're bangers, man.
And a lot of the work is on Tabitha. Tabitha is like the best when it comes to her Rarity.
Yes.
Oh, I don't think I would like Rarity as much if it wasn't Tabitha.
Yeah,
I think that goes for most of the main 6.
I feel like no one else could pull it off except for Tabitha. Tabitha gives like her all and more to every performance. I think that's what makes Rarity.
The fact that she's so over the top. Like, you know, they don't animate the so FiM, I mean, there are a lot of shows that have like good a lot of shows that are good do this. With FiM, they don't animate the characters, like they don't animate the faces before the VAs record their lines.
Yeah.
They animate the faces around their lines.
And it shows. It definitely shows.
It really shows because the voice syncing ends up looking really clean. I can't think of a single instance from the show where it's like felt off. But yeah, and I think that kind of like just Tabitha being Tabitha, and like Tabitha is Rarity as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, Rarity Takes Manhattan. Great episode.
They also introduced one of the most adorable side characters ever. I have a real soft spot for Coco Pamel.
Oh, yeah. Coco Pamel's great.
And the big thing for me, other than like, you know, the musical number, the story was really great. I love I love how Rarity's generosity was challenged. And that's the thing I like about Rarity, because I feel like her being the element of generosity, but her also having the tendency to be selfish. I know a lot of people point that and go, oh, she's not perfect. But I really think that's an interesting character dynamic, because I mean, you can have a lot of stuff and still be generous. Like, you can have your moralities challenged.
That's what makes her character, though, is that she's not perfect.
That she's
great.
That she's materialistic, but she's still generous despite that.
You can be both. And that's like, she's just such a unique character. She's a diva, but she doesn't really fall into, like, she doesn't fall into a lot of the character tropes of a diva.
Yeah.
She falls into, like, the, you know, like, she faints, she eats ice cream when she's sad.
Somebody get me my fainting couch.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But in terms of who she is, like, as a person, like, she kind of, like, obliterates all those stereotypes.
Yeah, I usually hate the diva fashionista character because they're all over, like, cartoons, especially girls' cartoons. But it's really hard to hate Rarity.
That's honestly why she's my favorite character of the main six.
She's a girl boss done right.
Yeah, she is a girl boss done right. You got a point.
True.
Gosh, Reminiscent Violet listens to every episode of the podcast, and I know he's going to message me, and he's just going to be like, he's going to love this because he loves Rarity so much.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
Rarity's the original girl boss.
Yeah. Was there... I know, Ambi, you said there was another episode that you wanted to mention for best, and then we'll move on to our worst, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up Leap of Faith real quick because I think that was a really fun episode, but that was purely because of the Flim Flam brothers.
It's all right.
Yeah, I found it really fun just because the Flim Flam brothers are really fun to watch.
Yes, the Flim Flam brothers are fun to watch.
We didn't even talk about Super Speedy Cider Squeezy for season 2.
Yeah. No, that was a very good episode too. Also, before it gets lost and move on, I just also want to say the animation for Rarity Takes Manhattan was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Going to a new location like that with just a completely different aesthetic from the rest of Equestria and doing the entire episode there.
It was world building and it was a Rarity episode.
There were so many good things about that episode. I love that episode.
Adding on to that with Pinky Pride, again, they did a lot of really cool stuff with the lighting in that episode, specifically with Pinky's Lament. That scene is so pretty.
The thing with Leap of Faith, the episode itself is fine. It's fine. But, like, I think, again, the Flim Flam brothers are just so fun to watch that I found it really entertaining.
They're so underrated. They're so charismatic.
I know.
I am a sucker for charismatic villains.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, the salesman trope with the Flim Flam brother. It's just so good. They're great.
Yeah. Friendship is Magic has a great habit of just, like, taking tropes that most people are tired of and just making them amazing.
Yeah,
it happens so often.
Anyways, did we want to talk about least favorite episodes, or did you have another episode to bring up?
No, I didn't have another episode to bring up. All right. Okay. I take that back. Flight to the Finish.
Which one is that?
That's the one where the Cutie Mark Crusader win the right to open the Equestria Games, and they win that competition.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes, because that's the episode where they finally bring up Scootaloo not being able to fly as like an actual disability. And the fact that they're able to deliver a moral about like disability and stuff like that, and such a heavy like topic, and they do it so well is just, oh, it's so good.
It was, yeah. I think I just spent most of that episode being pissed off at Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon, to be honest.
And I understand that it is horrible, but at the same time, just the way it's handled, especially with Rainbow Dash, because Rainbow Dash typically is not the most level. You look at all the main six, and you would not pick Rainbow Dash to be the one to deliver that moral.
Rainbow Dash, Rainbow Dash is cool and all, but not the most morally aligned pony out of all of them.
Yeah, Rainbow Dash did have pretty good characterization in that episode, not gonna lie.
Yeah, but at the same time, it had to be her because she's the one that Scootaloo looks up to. And so her being the one to finally deliver the message, like, it doesn't matter if you fly or not, you're still awesome. That was, it was done so well.
And I also really like that it followed up the Equestria Games on episode 24 of season 4. That was great.
Oh, yeah.
Consistency.
Continuity.
The only thing I didn't like about that episode is that there was no punishment for Diamond Tiara being absolutely evil.
Oh my gosh.
Other than the fact that she lost the competition.
There was really no comeuppance there, and it's like,
But still, I don't care. That wasn't enough to ruin it for me. I like that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, though. Okay, so season 4 least favorite episodes. Can I just be the first to say... I'm not the first to say this. Literally everyone has said it. Daring Do episodes aren't that great. I was recently rewatching some of season 4, like the earlier episodes, and Daring Don't was like the first episode in season 4 that I got to where I was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
I don't like this. I don't like watching
Daring
this.
Do episodes are either okay or bad.
I don't think...
And Daring Don't was... I don't like that episode.
I don't know. I think it was an okay episode. I am 100% on board with the idea that Daring Do did not need to be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, again, the also thing is, you know, Daring Do being a recolor of Rainbow Dash still gets to me.
It's weird.
And I think that's my biggest problem with Daring Do, because I know they had a picture of her on the cover and everything, so like that's what she looks like. But I really love the idea of the reason that Daring Do was basically a recolor of Rainbow Dash is because when Rainbow Dash was reading those books, she imagined Daring Do as like, she saw herself in Daring Do, and that's why she was a recolor. And I love that symbolism, and then she's realized, she's like, oh no, she just looks like that.
Despite all that, though, like, that's not even why I dislike that episode. I got really frustrated with the main 6 in that episode. So they break and enter Daring Do's house. They, like, essentially dox her. Daring Do, like, reveals her identity with literally, like, she just reveals her identity. Like, when it's supposed to be this big secret thing, she just, in front of a bunch of random civilians, reveals that she's Daring Do without even, like, paying attention to them. Like, she knows they're there because they're talking to her. And then when the bad guys come in, like, the main 6 are just standing at the window looking and watching Daring Do get her butt handed to her. Like, what are you guys doing? You're just standing there.
You're a Princess Twilight, do something!
Literally any of them could have done something, but any of them in most situations would have done something. Most of them, at least. I don't know if Fluttershy and Rarity would have, maybe Rarity. I can't see Fluttershy stepping in at that point in the series. But, no, like, Applejack? Rainbow Dash? Like, Twilight? Of course, they would jump in and, yeah, none of them did. They just stood there watching. I'm like, guys, what the butts? I really don't like that episode.
That definitely was in the lower tier for me. That's say I think I dislike the idea of Daring Do being real more than I dislike the episode itself, and I try not to hold that against it. For me, easily the worst episode of that season was Some Pony to Watch Over Me.
Oh, yeah. I think that's one of the few episodes that I don't think I've rewatched.
There's a reason for it.
Maybe, yeah, because I barely remember anything from that episode. I remember when I was a kid and I watched that episode, I was like, all right, it's all right. Mostly because I was a big, like, nut for Greek mythology, and there was a chimera in that episode. That was cool. Yeah, I like the chimera.
That's the one thing everybody remembers about the chimera. But thing is, after rewatching it a while back, even the chimera was lame. Because, like, the chimera, because basically, like, the three, because, you know, the chimera, it's like the tiger, the sheep's head, and then the snake tail. And then it's like the three just, like, bickered at each other. And it's just, like, even that was, like, as cool as it was to see another mythical creature, especially a dangerous one, even that was lame.
Yeah.
And it's just, the thing about the whole thing is, for some reason, like, something happened. I can't remember what happens in the beginning of the episode, but something happens to where Apple Bloom is almost hurt. And then Applejack just suddenly decides, you're a baby and I can't let you get hurt, so I'm going to, like, lock you in your room and never let you do anything.
Yeah, pretty bad.
And so then Apple Bloom's like, well, I have to prove her wrong. And then so she takes her and a delivery Applejack was supposed to make, her and the Cutie Mark Crusaders, through the lava swamps. And then she would have 100% died if Applejack had not taken care of the situation herself. And somehow at the end of the episode, Applejack's just like, you know what? Despite the fact that you 100% wouldn't have died if I didn't do anything, you're absolutely right. I should trust you. Even though you went behind my back. Yes, even though you went behind my back, did something that would have gotten you killed, and I had to personally intervene and do everything. You're right. You are completely mature and able to take care of yourself. And
that was looking at that episode.
I was looking at the screen and I'm just like, what? Are you kidding me?
That's the complete opposite problem that Owlswell That Ends Well had. Wow.
I feel like nobody talks about that episode, but I think that's a dead ringer for one of my least favorite episodes in the whole series.
All right, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Because not only was it bad and it had it backwards, it was just boring. It was such a terrible episode. The only funny part of that episode was when Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle had to pretend to be Apple Bloom to keep Applejack from being suspicious.
Yeah.
Everything else was terrible.
Was there any other episodes that we wanted to mention in terms of bad?
Not that I can think of.
I feel like just for the sake of the comment section for this video, I do have to bring up, since we're talking about season 4, I feel like the writing for Twilight's Kingdom, the season finale, it was very wishy-washy, but the fight scene is absolutely legendary.
Oh yeah, the fight scene.
I considered putting Twilight's Kingdom mostly because partially the fight scene, but also because of I actually feel like Discord's betrayal really adds a lot to his character.
Yeah, but Discord, as cool as Discord's betrayal was, it also led to my single biggest gripe with the episode is the whole now, of course, the whole thing is they had to jump through so many hoops to set up the super powered fight between Twilight and Tyrek. And it was awesome. Whenever people ask me, how do you like My Little Pony? That's the first scene I show them is the fight scene between Twilight and Tyrek. But there's so many things that have to be ignored and dumb decisions that have to be made to lead up to that point. Because the big reason that they supposedly gave Twilight all of their magic was, well, Tyrek doesn't know you exist. And I'm like, he's running around with Discord. Do you think Discord's not going to tell him?
Well, they didn't know that he was running around with Discord.
No, they
at the
did.
time.
That's the whole reason that they gave Twilight her magic. It's well, he's with Discord now. So
Wait, really?
Yeah, they're yeah.
Did that happen?
Yeah, it's he's with Discord now. They're too strong for us to stop. So we're going to give all of our magic to Twilight for her to hide it because Tyrek doesn't know she exists. And I'm just well, Discord knows. He's going to tell him if he's actually loyal to Tyrek. And not to mention, they didn't even take down the window that showed her coronation. And I'm this is a really badly laid plan. It's a lot like a candlelight wedding where the writing is very, very sus, but just the emotional toll and the animation and the music. Because candlelight wedding, it's the writing was really sus. There's a lot of plot holes, but it's just the musical numbers and the payoff is so good that you're kind of willing to forgive it. And Twilight's Kingdom is the same way. The writing is very sus, but the fight scene is so awesome that you're just okay, whatever. A trade-off.
I feel for me, I like the fight scene a lot.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
I think for me, the thing that that makes me like that episode a lot is specifically Discord's betrayal, and then the betrayal of Discord, and having him hit this moment of just whenever Discord gets hit with a realization oh shoot, I screwed up. That always gets
me. I done goofed.
Oopsie whoopsie, I did a fucky wucky.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, his just the thing with him saying to Fluttershy, surely you saw this coming, and she says I didn't, and then later when Tyrek says the same thing, I love that. I love that sort of thing. I love that trope.
Yeah,
and then
that realization where this is how I made them feel. This kind of sucks.
It's I love when Discord gets his comeuppance, not because I hate the character, but because I love the character.
Yeah, he learns from his
and
mistakes.
It just adds so much more to him. It makes him more three-dimensional.
Yeah.
But so I think that about wraps up our discussion. So next time we have an episode with all three of us, we'll be talking about our favorite and least favorites of seasons 5 through 9. So
don't miss
stay tuned for that. Don't miss that.
Subscribe, click the bell, donate to our Cash App.
We have a Cash App.
Exactly. We don't have a Cash App.
I have a Cash App. I don't know what you're talking about.
Donate to the Out of Our Mains Child Society charity. We help unfortunate children in need, and those unfortunate children are us.
True.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, or wait, listening, watching. We're on podcasting apps. Some people might be just listening.
Thank you for being a part of this.
So at the end of every episode, we've got a few things that we do. So for starters, we always ask a question of the episode, and I think it's fitting to say we should do something related to the major topic of this episode. What should our question be? Should it be should we have people list their favorites and least favorites of seasons 1 through 4?
Yeah, do that. Season 1 through 4, favorite and least favorite.
Question of the episode: what's your favorite and least favorite episodes of seasons 1 through 4? You can leave that in the comment section below if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, you can reply to the Q&A that's on there. Otherwise, you can send it to us on Twitter. out of our mains using the hashtag mainpod, or you can talk to us on our Discord. That'll be in the description. Other than that, let's see. So,
and remember, if your episodes are different than ours, be sure to yell at us and call us terrible names, because that's how the internet works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, if you think that Spike at Your Service is the best episode that's ever been graced to us by M.A. Larson himself,
Rainbow Dash is going to leave a whole paragraph.
Oh, yeah.
Going to leave a whole essay.
And it's just talking about the scene where he smells his dirty feet.
Yep.
That's all it is. Yeah. But a whole paragraph about that.
Cole, if you do that, I'm going to give you nothing.
Okay, so picture the episode. Ambi, you had an idea?
Yeah. If you have a TV, show it to us, but just show us whatever screen, because I know some people watch it on a computer and laptop and stuff. Show us your screen that you watch My Little Pony on.
I mean, if you do it on your phone, I guess you could take a screenshot of your phone, like on YouTube or something. I don't know.
Just take your other phone and take a picture of your main phone.
Because obviously people have two phones.
Take a mirror selfie.
So yeah, send us those pictures on Twitter, again, out of our mains using the hashtag mainpod, or send it to us to our Send Pics channel on our Discord. I think that's about everything. Did either of you have any upcoming things that you're working on that you wanted to plug or anything like that?
I mean, I don't need to plug anything.
Robert, make your video.
I feel like we're both just procrastinating on making videos at this point.
Amazar, make your next video.
I do need to make my next video. I know what it's going to be.
Look, I have all the lines worked out. I just got to get back to video. I just haven't been feeling like editing a video right now.
Do it now, Robert. I want content.
Okay, would people even, the people listening, would you even be interested in, that? Because, what I'm doing, I'm going to be doing, a breakdown of, the season 1 episodes from My Little Pony. I'm starting with season 1.
You're gonna break it down?
Yes, I'm going to break it.
He's gonna hit the gritty.
I'm gonna hit the gritty. But yeah, I'm going to be doing I'm gonna be revisiting the episodes and doing small reviews and breakdowns. Well, trying to. I've never done that.
Robert, you gotta put the video out to gauge interest.
I know, but
you can't just ask people.
I'm asking people if anyone would be interested in seeing me actually put that video.
I'm interested, Robert. Is that not enough for you?
No, it's never enough.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening / watching, and we hope you have a great couple of weeks, I guess, until our next episode.
Yes.
Is no one gonna say goodbye?
Bye.
Nah, this is how we should.
No one's gonna say goodbye.
This is how we should end it. Just awkward silences.
Yep. We're just gonna leave 15 seconds of silence.
Wait. I have something I need to announce that's important.
Oh?
I went to the zoo this week and I saw a baby orangutan.
Dude.
That's a good one. On that note, goodbye, everybody.
Later.
Goodbye.